quick card is this 7x7 card in burgundy and coconut white, both essential cards, and this has been made just using the JND345 Cosmo trellis. And what we've done is we've left a little channel where it's a floating sort of channel, or chunnel as I tend to call it, which is a sort of thicker channel of the foliage, but it's got that beautiful shadowing behind it where you've got the offset shadow and the white showing through. So I'm going to show you how we make this card. For this quick card, we're going to start with the JND345 Cosmo trellis. And I've cut a piece of our essential card in burgundy to 6 inches by 6 inches. And I'm using my mat to lay this out. And I want to basically give myself an inch gap on the left-hand side here. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice the die is slightly larger, so I'm just overlapping it so that it gives me a complete channel sort of through there. Channel is what I sort of call a channel that's sort of chunky. So I'm just going to tape that down and cut it down. It's important that we keep that measurement, so that's what we need to make that background piece where we have the white in it. So we'll run that through our die cutting machine, and that gives us a piece just like this. So if you can see, we've got a perfect inch on this side and we've got the section there. So to create the panel at the back, we need to now take another piece of the essential card in burgundy at 6x6, and we're again going to take our die and we're going to pop this down again on that inch measurement. Now obviously I don't want this to move, but I don't want to do it too much, so I'm just going to put a little bit of tape at the top, and then I'm going to bring in my ice white Pearl Fusion ink pad. So make sure I've got a finger dauber, which is the best to do this through when you're colouring through a die. Check the measurement is right, and then all I'm doing is just colouring roughly through the die. This is something that we forget we can do with dies. We can use them as stencils, and we can get an impression of the colour if they've been designed in the right way to do this for us. So just literally colouring through with the white. Once I get close to the top, I'm going to hold the die in place, take the tape off, and just tape it down at the bottom, making sure it doesn't move. And again, finish off and do the last section. It doesn't actually matter if you run over the sides, because you're not going to see those when we put the section with the sort of channel or the channel in there. So just colouring through. It's just to give us an impression. You can spend a little bit more time. If you want it a little bit finer, you can use a blending brush, but I find a dauber does the best. You see that we get a really nice, sort of really soft, subtle impression of the die running on the back. So it gives us more than a two-tone, gives us more of a two-tone colour. So what I've done is pop some foam tape on the back of here. I'm just using 2mm foam tape as usual. So I'm going to take that off, and a great tip is, if you're wanting to put something in exactly the right place and you're using foam tape, then use a little bit of wet glue, just so that you've got a little bit of time to slip and slide this piece around to get it in exactly the right place. So I'm just going to then turn that over, and I'm going on the inch measurement. Can you see there I'm matching it up so I get that little bit of shadowing. There we go. Because we use the inch measurement, it completely lies flat. We get a real sort of 3D look to that, with that white shadowing around it with the actual dark colour showing. So whilst it looks nothing when we've coloured through, when we do it like that, it's perfect. Here I've got a card blank that's been cut to 7x7, and I've just added a matte and layer on of coconut white at 6.5, and then a little bit of the burgundy at 6 5/8, so we get a nice little 1/16 of an inch border all the way around it. And simply going to add that on, so we get that nice white border around. I've got a little sentiment here cut from made from the Handy Sentiments, and this is 1 inch by 3 inches. So we just drop that on nice and even, and then using the other die in the Cosmo trellis set, just on a scrap of the burgundy card, I've cut that out, and I've made myself 4 little double flowers with them, and I've just put a little white pearl in the centre so that I can then focus around this sentiment. So we're just going to pop one there, and I'm just going to pop 3 around the other side here just to balance that off. So tucking those in. I like to keep my flowers in odd numbers. Make sure I pop that back. And there we go, nice and simple. And just to finish off and to give a little bit more interest to it, I'm just going to take a few more of the white stick-on pearls, grab some tweezers, and just put a few pearls randomly around that sentiment, just so we're actually sort of focusing the eye onto there. And there we have a beautiful quick card made simply using one die, the JND345 Cosmo Trellis.